There's something quietly electric about watching someone talk about a dream they haven't quite let themselves fully believe in yet. When Darragh Ennis sat down on Good Morning Britain, most viewers probably knew him as the chaser, that precise, almost unnerving presence on ITV's The Chase who answers questions with the calm confidence of someone who simply knows. But something felt different in this conversation. Something more personal was sitting just beneath the surface. Because Darragh wasn't talking about quizzing. He was talking about home. He spoke about wanting to bring back an iconic Irish television show, and the way he said it, many viewers noticed, carried a weight that went beyond casual ambition. This wasn't a celebrity dropping a soundbite about a pet project. This felt like someone quietly admitting to a longing they'd been carrying for a while. There's a particular kind of emotional texture that comes with that, when a person talks about something from their past with the kind of reverence usually reserved for things that shaped who they became. And that's where this moment got genuinely interesting. Darragh Ennis built his public profile in Britain. The chase made him recognizable here, gave him a platform, turned him into a household name in living rooms across the UK. But there's always been something in his manner, a certain warmth underneath the sharpness, that hints at a different version of his story. A version rooted somewhere across the Irish Sea, in a television culture and an audience that might connect with him in ways that British quiz show fame simply doesn't reach. Some people watching felt that this interview was about more than television commissions. It almost seemed as though Darragh was speaking to something deeper, a sense of wanting to be seen differently. Not just as a quizzer, not just as the chaser, but as someone with ideas, with creative investment, with genuine love for a cultural institution that meant something to an entire generation of Irish viewers. The show he referenced carries that kind of nostalgic gravity. There are certain programs that don't just entertain, they become part of how a generation remembers itself. Bringing something like that back isn't simply a production decision. It's an act of cultural memory. And the fact that Darragh wants to be the person to carry that forward says something quite revealing about where his heart sits, even as his career continues to thrive in Britain. What viewers online interpreted as particularly compelling was the quiet confidence with which he spoke about wanting more television opportunities. There was no desperation in it, no performance of ambition. It felt considered, earned, almost like a man who has spent enough time on screen to know exactly what kind of television he wants to make, and is now, carefully, starting to say so out loud. That's a fascinating transition to watch happen in real time. The moment a recognizable face stops being defined entirely by the role that made him famous and starts carving space for something new, something more authentically theirs, there's an emotional shift that audiences instinctively feel, even if they can't quite name it. While nothing has been confirmed about any revival, the conversation itself planted something in the minds of viewers. A possibility, a question worth asking, and perhaps that's precisely what Darragh intended, not an announcement, but an invitation for people to imagine it alongside him. Maybe what stayed with audiences after that interview wasn't the specific details of what he said, but the feeling underneath it all. The sense of a person quietly stepping toward a bigger version of what they could be.